Fuego, how's it going tonight? Saw you post that up here about 15 minutes ago and decided I'd not get you until the very intro of everything here, but I'm glad I was able to. Hopefully everything is going well up there in the Pacific Northwest for you. I know here in the upper Midwest, we had a pretty decent weekend for shows. In fact, we had, Base Wars had something like, I want to say 7 or 8 shows over the weekend. I know I had one up in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Looks like there was something out in Arlington, Wisconsin. Looks like Superfest was happening this weekend. There was something out at Thunder Mountain in Madison, Bristol area. Something down in Litchfield, Kentucky. Did a San Diego thing over the weekend at Corridon. Not sure which way it is pronounced, but Corridon is the way I'd pronounce it anyway. Corridon, Indiana as well. So a lot of nice little shows over the weekend here for everything. Looks like we got a couple more still coming up this weekend as well. And should be just enough to get us through for the next 2 months before finals comes up for all of us. And finals is coming up. It is literally 2 months to the day. It is 10/4. That's not a CB handle kind of thing going on. That's the date, folks. 10/4, October 4th. And that is going to be like the little ticker says there on the bottom of the screen. That is everywhere for the most part so far across the nation with us. So I'm kind of happy with that. Bobby, how are you doing tonight, sir? Hopefully you're doing well. Getting some love in there and some fire for El Fuego happening. I got my good buddy Chris on there as well. Chris, how you doing tonight there, Mr. Shumley? Still find it funny that people did not know who Gordon Shumley was. That's just a freaking amazing that we have older bass heads like myself and you and some others out there who don't remember that name. Loving it. And yeah, that is your birthday, isn't it? 10/4, October 4th. So a good reason to get out and have fun with the bass and just be with friends, be with the Basshead family that way. I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but there are no better people out there than Bassheads. Yeah, we get a little upset if you start making fun of the one product that we have or something else, but hey, that's part of it. That's why we do the game this way. It's always a fun time. Eric, how are you doing tonight, sir? Haven't seen you in a while, but hoping to see you maybe this weekend out in Kennebec, South Dakota, where my little show is just across the river. It is a great time. Donnie, how are you doing tonight, man? Finally was able to read through everything a couple times on that book you sent me last night through all the text messages and whatnot, man. That is a lot of questions. I'm loving it. John, thank you again, sir, for the great show that we had this particular Saturday. It wasn't very big, but it was a nice day for a very easy drive. John is one of the new old guys out there that is coming back into the Basshead scene with Bass Wars. He showed up at one of my little shows in T back at the beginning of May and busted out a higher 159 on music, and the next day did about the same, a little bit higher than that, and seen him a couple times since then. So always a good time. JC, how are you doing tonight? Hopefully everything is going good for everybody out there. Oh, well, Eric, that ain't a good thing, but that is a good thing. Won't be able to make it to anything till T, which is going to be surprisingly for me this month, that's going to be my fourth Friday of the month. I'm getting a little picky at the end of the year, but I still have like 6 shows left this year to jump on. So it's going to be a good time to get there on the 22nd at my little show out here. But I know I've got, well, like I said, I got Kennebec, which is just across the river here in South Dakota this weekend. Going to go out and see Deb and Eric out at their little facility. We got, they've got, between the whole family out there, I'm going to say just shy of 10,000 acres that they've got for hunting, fishing, basehead stuff as well. Plus, at the site on Saturday, they've got a nice little, probably about a 25-room hotel sitting there, a little bar and grill about 4 miles south of town out in the prairie. If you want to scope out the pheasant or the fishing areas that are out here in South Dakota, please check them out. Eric and Deb Halverson, they run a place called Big Prairie Hunts. The rest of the family also run something called Halverson Hunts. Eric and Deb have something like 2,400 acres themselves. There's another 6,000 or 7,000 or so with the family out there. So like I said, they've got just shy of like 10,000 acres out there. Should be a fun time. I am also hoping, Chris, that the 16th goes well out there. Should be seeing a lot of fun stuff. Ted, I hope you are ready for the 16th. I'd love to see you come up to Fargo with me. Get a little South Dakota TBO action up there along with the North Dakota TBO action. Hopefully, we'd be able to do something that way in the near future. Paul, how are you doing tonight, sir? I am doing fantastic. Like I said, I had a great little show this weekend. It was a nice day for it. It was kind of overcast all day up in Aberdeen, South Dakota, up near the North Dakota-South Dakota border. It was about 74, 75 degrees. There was a little breeze outside all day. I didn't have to worry about Mother Nature taking my canopy away or sending my table away with my TV and laptop like it did up in Grand Forks. So I was happy with it. I'm not going to complain about it. It was a great little show. So I am having a great long weekend here. I didn't even really do anything today. It's kind of nice. It's kind of planned up a little system for myself and got some ideas written up and some little things on not really the little black book of test stuff anymore, but just what I need for a system that I'm building up. So should be some fun. Gonna finally get something in my little Honda Fit and make something happen here, hopefully by the end of the year, and maybe have it ready for an after finals show. I am planning on doing that as well, and that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight here is I know that you need 7 shows courtesy this side right here. 7 shows in the same class. That means you didn't show up to 7 shows. That means you have 7 scores in Bandit or Stealth or Hurricane Wall or Tsunami or whatever class you want to be in. It's been a long year for 7 shows for some folks. I know that there was a couple things earlier this year happened that all of a sudden you're making it like a 3 or a 4-hour drive to get to some shows. Well, I can't help you out with those unless you're up here in North and South Dakota, which I've had, I think I've got 5 or 6 more shows still to come. So if you are still looking for shows in my area, please, I can certainly get them done. I can still get you started today with it and get you 7 shows. Other judges, It's a lot harder to do in other areas, even though we got a lot of judges out there. I know Richard has a couple shows coming up, so a couple things on the West Coast. I know that there are still some big shows coming up for quite a few of them for the judges as well. The only other location that I have seen so far pop up for finals is got Indiana with a state finals showing up that Brandon has posted out there for Marion on September 6th. That is a Saturday coming up here in about a month. Now, that is not, I repeat, that is not national worldwide finals. That's just the state finals here, folks. So if you got questions, check out that link on the basewars.org website, and it's going to bring you to the exact list that I am looking at right now. That I'm also seeing a Great Lakes State Finals at the Crystal Motors Speedway. That particular show, a couple weeks right before everything, but that is going to be in Michigan. That is on Saturday, September 20th. So there are a couple state finals going on before the actual world finals that we have. Base Wars finals, as I kind of mentioned, Brandon has one show that he has put in for it in Lafayette at Soundcheck. And I have mine set up in T, 3 miles south of Sioux Falls here, where Phil and I have our little shop. So hopefully we'll get everything happening. Next shows coming up, man, we got a lot of little shows coming up as well, which is really nice. And if you got to drive for a couple of them to get there, that's just unfortunate. That's kind of the way that it has been this year. We haven't had a lot of shows. Certainly, I know that our show count is down. I spoke with Billy, maybe I'm going to say probably 3 weeks ago or so. And I know that the show count is down for the year. We kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on quality shows rather than having so many. I like to think that mine are all pretty quality, but I know I want to lie a little bit and say probably 15 shows so far this year, maybe more. I know other judges have had site issues where they can't do them anymore due to whatever the reason was, being that a shop was forced to move and didn't reopen, that a shop was just someone got I don't necessarily want to say too old for the business, but something happened with business and they just didn't do it anymore. They didn't want us back for whatever reason, or maybe they chose another organization. So show count this year is down quite a bit, unfortunately, but still got to have 7 shows, and we're still kind of helping you out with that. We still have that 2-for-1 little thing happening where you will tell your judge, whether it's myself or Jimmy or Richard or Greg and Stacy or whoever it is, that you want to do a 2-for-1 deal. So you pay your normal fee. You make your 3 runs in let's say Port Wars, Bandit, and then you throw something into like Twister and Twister No Wall, since we're talking Bandit. And you want to make sure that your Bandit score gets counted twice. Well, the score doesn't actually get counted twice, but you pay for Bandit twice. So you'll pay for Bandit your first time, and your Port Wars and your Twister, and you'll pay your judge $70 on those, because it's 30 and then 20 for each additional. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So we got $70. And you give them a $100 bill and you say, hey, Greg, I want to make sure my Bandit score goes twice today. Well, we're going to put in that score at the end of the day and we're going to do a little something special for it. It might not be in a results page for it, but we are going to put in into the term lab that we have a second score for you. It's going to be put in at like 90 dB or 100 dB. It's not going to be I suppose the right word would be, it's not going to be a legit score that you would normally post in Bandit, but it's going to be quite a bit lower, and it's going to say something in the notes that Billy and John, his son, will look at when we send out the archive. We're going to know it goes into a secondary area on the big spreadsheet. And from there, we're going to see that you had 2 scores on Saturday or Sunday or Friday or Tuesday, whatever day you need the score. So you won't necessarily see a score on the results page for it, but we will see it on the spreadsheet. Now, speaking of the spreadsheet as well, last year I had access to the spreadsheet to help people know how many shows they had and what if they had 5 or 6 and they needed 1 more or they didn't need any more. This year, I do not. I'm repeating, I do not have access to that. Billy is working diligently to keep that thing perfect this year. And I know that we still have some issues, as is evident by the top 10 lists that are out there, where I'm seeing just on the first page of it with Assassin, I think there's 8 people actually on the list, and 3 of the names are the same. And if you look at Boss, there's a couple names that are the same and a couple more classes. I think when I looked at them earlier today, I think I was seeing 12 or 13 classes where we had multiple versions of the same name, whether one of them said, let me pick on Mr. Erickson as I'm looking at the pictures here, the 4 of us on this border that we got. One of them has Brandon Erickson on there, S-O-N with his last name, and one of them has it with S-E-N. Or someone has Dan O'Brien on there instead of Dano. Someone has a team name on there instead of just simply Brandon or Dan or Jimmy or whoever. Those all count, but if judges aren't putting in the names the same and their member number, the spreadsheet gets a little thick. I'll just say it like that. We get some doubles that happen with it. So if you are seeing something that you don't think is right, it probably isn't. If there's a duplicate name or something that looks very similar on there, again, if one of them says Jimmy Pittman and it's only got 1 M in Jimmy and the other one has 2, there's going to be a spelling issue. And if the scores are close enough and they both technically would populate the top 10 list, they will. So it is, again, up to the judges, myself, Brandon, even Billy. Please make sure that as judges, that at the end of the day, before we start taking down stuff and sending out the tag plates, that we make sure that everybody's name is spelled correctly. If I'm asking you how to spell your last name, it's because I can't read it and I'm not going to guess. I want you to tell me how to spell it. So that being said, yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes with spreadsheet stuff for next year and top 10s. I'm hoping we'll see some louder, bigger, better, louder systems. That's what I've been telling Billy all year. And so far I've seen a lot louder systems. And a lot of them are from people that I have not actually seen their systems yet. I take a look on Facebook if I see something and try and see some pictures. And a lot of you guys and gals, some of you aren't putting anything out there. But please, put some pictures out there. I know I took some pictures this weekend. I haven't put them out there yet, but I'm going to here tonight. I got the phone right here in front of me, so we'll get that taken care of and see a lot of things. And hopefully that we'll get some more people showing up to the shows. I know Paul said something earlier on. He's nowhere close to having shows. Donnie mentioned that he's got to do a windshield thing, and then he's got 3-hour drives to get home, and he needs 2 shows in a weekend coming up here. Well, Donnie, I can help you out with that. As mentioned, we can get all of that stuff taken care of for you. He's got his shows for the classes. We just need a couple more shows here and there. Eric needs a couple more. So Eric, I can get you 1 show and you pay double on one, or if you want to come on out to one of the shows and then the next weekend come to another, because I don't have, well, actually I do have 2. Actually, I got 3 open weekends still. So I'll figure out something for it. Wes, how you doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is awaiting Smokey's Mountain Jammin' Trucks. Sick at the moment, so he's got to skip the sundown show. Well, that's not good. Don't want you to have anyone skipping the sundown show if they're available to get out there. Uh-oh. That scares me a little bit there, Chris. That scares me a little bit. Although, I will say I saw a picture. I was scrolling through some Facebook stuff over the weekend, and I saw a picture of Chris, and I thought the jersey that he was wearing looked pretty sharp. So if you're looking for team ideas, you know, that little border that we have around here right now, Jimmy and Billy are wearing the red shirts. I know I had a red shirt that made it look like I was trying to win the Tour de France, because this shirt was tighter than hell on me, and it was supposedly an extra large. I gave it to my daughter last year for her birthday. It probably is baggy on her, but no worries with it. But if you're really looking for a team shirt idea, baseball jersey, football jersey, hockey jersey style, if you want to do something like these shirts that Jimmy and Billy are wearing in this border again, we got a couple different options for that. I can send you some ideas. We have them specifically made for the judges in the orange and red colors that they have. We also have them in a green and purple with the black as well, but green and purple. That's the one that I have, and mine, it's supposedly an extra large, but I think it's more like a 3X. I know we had sizing questions about them to begin with, and yeah, they run large for the most part. Because like I said, I supposedly got an extra large, which for me on a t-shirt, normally I wear just regular large shirts, but I wanted something to be able to put a sweatshirt on underneath when it does start to get cool out. Yeah, I did not need an extra large in this shirt. It looks like a double or even a triple XL on me. It's a big shirt, but if you guys looking for team ideas, again, jerseys, soccer, football, hockey, baseball, whatever, or if you can't afford that for the team, a simple t-shirt, do that, get your team name made up on it, Team Dano, Team Jimmy, Team Base Wars, whatever. Take a look at it, see if you can afford that for your team, and show some team spirit out there come finals, because I want to see teams helping each other, and I would like to see everybody on the team helping everybody else on the team when they get there. If you need a push, if you need just a little bit of push, if you need a door being vented, with the exception being, of course, maybe some of the extreme vehicles or the old school class, which is supposed to be sealed. Don't vent the doors on a sealed vehicle. Ask the people. Don't just go up and do something to it. Ask them, do they need help? Especially if it's a team member that you don't remember if they did it back in April or something else. Find out what they need. Ask them, let them know that you're there to help and that your vehicle is 2 or 3 behind them in the lanes. It will help out with it later on with it. Hey, Chris, I mentioned you there and kind of got a little, not really tongue-tied, but just kind of kept going there. Hopefully you are doing well there, sir. Chris, shirts, yeah. T-shirts, if you got something out there for the T-shirt idea and your team wants it, team needs it, show unity, show some team spirit, definitely do it. Yeah, Donnie, that is so true as well. I'm kind of getting there with that. And again, with the team spirit thing, if you get team members at the show, or if you're looking for people to help you at a show, ratchet straps, pushing, pulling, poking, prodding, even swapping equipment. If you didn't bring the right tools for your system, ask around, ask the judge to make a little announcement. I'll get on my little megaphone or my small PA system, and I'll ask if someone's got something. Ask your friends as well, even if they're not teammates. Ask them. Hopefully, some of the people will get there and be able to tell us everything that we need for it. So hopefully, see that with some nice teamwork coming up at even just the regular little shows that we still have coming up before finals. Those are the shows when the scores are nice to be able to put out there. They can get you on the top 10 list if you're a member or non-member, because we got 2 different lists, remember. The blue one that you see right away is for members. The link on top that says the top 10s, there is a global list that pops up right below that is non-members as well. So even though you might be number 3 on the blue list, technically you might be like 6 or 7 on the worldwide show you everybody list that's non-members included. And yeah, there are a couple people that are third or fourth on a list, and they are 6th or 7th out there. So just because you show up on one doesn't mean you're not on the other, and vice versa. Although the blue one, members only, and that means you have paid for 2025 to come out to finals, plus be on that top list out there with the blue headers on it for the classes. That also gets you into, and I don't have surprisingly, oh yeah, I do have a score sheet near me here. Some old blanks that I got here from this weekend. That top one right here, that one, that gets you on the kicker contest. The one over here, this one gets you the guidebook. The one on the very bottom, way down there through that circle, that gets you to the Base Wars store for all your stickers. Yep, and that is true, Chris. If you're on the global, you're on the member list. If you're a member, yes, sir. If you are top 10, try and get on both. And obviously, higher is better, but at the same time, you might not necessarily want to show all your cards right away. I know some of us are big into sandbagging, and it helps to do that once in a while too. But if you're still on the list, doesn't mean you're sandbagging. Maybe that is what you can do. So let's figure it all out. So coming up 2 months, like I said, to the day even, on October 4th, finals. That little ticker that's going across the bottom of the screen down there, it is on Saturday the 4th. We've got some couple different locations already set up. Brandon, I know, has one set up at Soundcheck in Indiana. I've got mine set up for T, South Dakota here, 3 miles south of, or 2.5, 3 miles south of Sioux Falls. So for me, the same location that I was at last year. Chris, I mentioned that to Billy because I remember talking about that last month when you brought that up. I don't have a good answer as to why, but I will mention it to him again here later on tonight or tomorrow when I speak with him. So hopefully we'll be able to get you on there. Otherwise, let's make sure that Jimmy and Sonia get your number in there, because it might be a score that does not have a number associated with it for your member number. And if we don't have that member number on it, I know that that is one of the things that can be added and modified with spreadsheets out there, that you've got to have one, the qualifying score, we got to have a name, we got to have a frequency, we got to have power on some of them, and a few other things. And quite honestly, I'm not going to call out anyone, but honestly, if you don't have a power or a frequency on there and it is something that should be on there, I'm not recognizing your score. I'm so tired of little things being omitted or added by what's the right way to say, by judges who don't know how to do it. Because if you're not putting in a frequency, or you're not putting in a power on a power clamp class in the leashed category, or we're seeing stuff in Ninja or Assassin or Bandit or something else where there's a power category on there, and we're seeing the number, but it's not necessarily supposed to be there. Come on, take 30 seconds, get the clamp out of the vehicle or put it in the vehicle, and make it look like we're not dummies going out there. And I'm guilty of it too, but I try not to, because I like looking at things and seeing everything that I am supposed to, and not necessarily seeing things that don't necessarily count or don't mean a darn thing for it. Regardless, though, with finals, again, I saw Brandon's, I got mine set up, various locations. And what we mean by that is every judge that's going to have a finals location, we're all going to have our laptops going, and hopefully we're going to have an additional little camera for it. This is not on my laptop. This is on a different camera here for everything right now that you're seeing. I got a little Logitech that I use. It's $40. We'll plug that into our laptops. We'll set that on the side of our little spare monitor or TV, or the top of our laptop, or maybe we've got a rear-facing laptop on our laptop, or camera on our laptop rather. We'll broadcast that out to Billy, and Billy will take mine and Brandon's, and I'm assuming Richard will have something. I'm 99% certain that Jimmy will have something, a couple other judges, so we'll have 6 or 7 or 8 locations nationwide for this. We all feed them to Billy, and when Billy sees something that looks like he knows the name, just like what we show on our screens, our secondary screens at the show, where it says Jimmy Pittman, and Jimmy is going to be doing Typhoon Wall, for example, and he sees that Jimmy's moving around and getting stuff ready, Billy will quickly select that particular location, and we'll see it, and we'll get Jimmy's Typhoon Wall up on there. And then 20 minutes later, Brandon will show up with his Typhoon Wall. And hey, if he's got something louder than Jimmy does, Well, then all of a sudden that score goes up and Jimmy's in second and Brandon's in first, or vice versa. Um, and with that, we'll have a big master list that is going on as well that Billy and John Taylor will be taking care of at the same time as the video is happening. We'll have that happen. At the same time, we will have an opportunity, I hope, again, I haven't heard from Billy on this, that's why I'm going to speak with him later on, about world records. And Donnie, I do see your question on here about how's the world thing work? Hopefully, better and louder than it did last year at finals. You will make if it is the same as last year, you can make a secondary run at finals for an additional fee. I have no idea what the finals fee will be yet this year. I do know that a couple weeks ago, Billy showed off some of the big rings that we will be handing out at finals. Personally, I don't like jewelry all that much. I'm not a fan of rings, but for something like this where it's all the same, we're doing rings and they're kind of nice. But like I said, I don't really like jewelry all that much. I'm not a fan of them, but they look really nice. I am glad we've got them. Billy ordered these up maybe, I'm going to guess sometime mid-June is when he first started talking about them in the manager's chat or the judge's chat. And I know that is what we are going to have. That is going to be for first, second, and third. I do not know what we will be doing yet for world records, if they will be something like what we had last year, where it was a bigger plaque style, or if it will be a something like we had last year for the finals trophies, with the wood and the green plexi or Lexan that was on it, where you could hang it up on the wall. That was the trophies final thing. Maybe it will be, I don't know. We could go through it all and say belts, rings, custom trophies, big old necklace pendants or something. I don't know what they're going to be yet this year. I have not seen anything on the judges chat, managers chat about it, but I'm hoping to know a little bit more when I come back online beginning of September with the first Monday of the month kind of thing. World records, again, hopefully a little bit better than last year. I know there were a couple things last year that were off with them. But I am guessing that it will be a secondary price point on something, or a price initiative or price purchase for a world record run, at which point we'll email Billy and say, hey, this is a world record run for Donnie, for you, for example, or for Chris. And we'll get out there and we'll say, hey, Donnie did a 160 in, take your pick, Donnie, a tornado or a tsunami. The one that you're second or third on currently on the member list on there, and you win. It might be an additional $20. It might be 30, might be 50. Again, I'm not sure, because I think that's going to be more so dollar dependent on what we get for the award for it. If it's something really basic, and it's a wristband. I mean, really, really basic. It's a $2 wristband. We'll charge you $5. If it's a necklace or something like a big pendant, it might be dependent on the size of the pendant. I know if I go out to the award place that I would go to personally, and I won't mention their name, but I would go out to a specific award site and I would say, all right, I need a 7-inch pendant. So, okay, 7-inch, that's bigger than your phone. Your phone is about 4.5, maybe 5. It might be 6 if you got the pro version. To have something like that hanging off your chest like you're holding the mic for the hot seat class, that's a pretty big piece of equipment. If I can make something smaller, like a travel napkin, or if I can make something smaller like a bottle of aspirin, which, hey, surprisingly, I got that sitting here. Your phone versus the bottle of aspirin. So we're talking something that's a 4-inch round versus 6-inch round or something like that. I'm sure the company that makes them has a $25 price point for something and a $35 price point. So if we're buying, say, 40 of them, because we only get 40 world record attempts, and we get 30 winners because 10 of those people came in second or even third or fourth, well, we're only going to give out the one world record award. So hopefully that's kind of what's happening with it. And again, I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything about that yet in the Base Wars managers / judges chat, but hopefully we'll be able to see some stuff. Maybe next month, Billy might talk about, or next week rather, Billy might talk about something about it if he's got an idea on it. And yeah, I hope that there's always room in there for a little bit more from about 98% of our people. I know that some of them, they just can't find anymore. And I am talking big name, yourself included with that, Donnie, because there's a little bit more here and there, but I'm talking more so RP and Hank and Alan, Carlos and Jessica out there with their van. The vehicles like that, they're not going to be that much more in them. I think most of those, we'd be talking hundreds, maybe a tenth. We're not going to be talking, 3 or 4 dB by simply taking the box and rotating it. So instead of port forward, it's port up or port backwards or the other way. Tim, how are you doing tonight? We are doing fantastic, kind of talking about finals and what it takes to get there, because it is 7 shows in the same class. It is 7 Bandit or 7 Typhoon No Wall or 7 Tsunami or 7 in Port Wars. It is fun talking about this stuff because I can say that after, let's see, I am 52 now. That's that's a lot of years doing this, because I started when I was 16, and damn, it's been a long time doing this stuff. Always having fun, except maybe 1 or 2 shows that I can say were just a pain through either my own fault or something that wasn't going right or went really, really wrong with equipment. But things like that, they do happen. So, hey, better to be around and sleepy than not around at all, Tim. But yeah, finals again, ladies and gentlemen, 2 months. Make sure you got your recones. Make sure you got your tools with you. Double check your tools. Have a teammate double check your tools. Bring out all those little things that you didn't think you were going to need. If you need a terminal cup, bring a terminal cup. If you need set screws for your amp, Go to Menards, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, get those set screws out of the big multi-pack bins. It will be there, and you'll need them. Set them all aside. Set them in a nice little, the little Plano fishing tackle boxes that have the little squares in them where you can put in all of your crimp caps and your wire harness pieces, your wire lugs. Make sure you got all that stuff with you. Bring the 10 mil because you're going to lose it. Put it on your key ring. Put that, actually, Billy, if you're listening and not commenting, every competitor at finals should get a 10 mil pendant that is a 6-point socket, or better yet, a 12-point socket, just because it should say Base Wars on it instead of 10 mil, because that way it will identify as Base Wars and not a 10 mil, and people won't lose them. That is actually my new idea for awards. 10 mil pendant award. God damn, I'm good at this stuff sometimes. That's a great idea. Tim, that's not even my idea. That's Tim's idea. Tim, 99% of the credit there for you for that one, sir. 99.9% of the stuff. I don't know if you wrote it down, but I did. So I'm going to let Billy know that we need 10 millimeter pendants for everybody at finals. If not, I'll figure out a way and I'll maybe make something. I'll 3D print something somehow. Even though I don't have a 3D printer yet, but we'll figure it out. Oh man, that's a lot. Oh, okay. So after 23rd, I'll have shows. So I'll be starting testing. Honestly, feel proud that I'm competitive against full extreme. Yes. If you've got everything in there, like Donnie says here, with the stock glass and his Yukon Denali Suburb, the bigger vehicles that are out there that should, by build quality, be in the extreme classes, of which we've got 3 of them out there, folks. We got Tsunami and Tornado for the tones, and we have that crowd control that is the 6 feet out. Make sure you're in the right category. Paul, same stuff right there. Yeah, the 2.5 and the 5 mil Allen wrenches for those remote turn on locations and speaker locations for the small ones. The 5 mil for the power and the ground locations on your amp, whether it's a pair of them or 3 or 4 pairs of them on that 1 amp or that stack of 10 amps that you have. And yep, those are music averages, or they are average classes. Not tone classes. I thought about that as soon as I said it. Get that stuff out there and let's see what it does. We can do a lot with everything else as far as tones and the music classes, as long as you're in the specific range for the music. For those weather classes on the right-hand side, all these fun classes that are right here, got to be in that location of frequency. I know my meter has had some issues lately, and I'm hopefully getting it taken care of, because I spoke with the folks at Term Lab today. They sent me some ideas. I'm not going to turn in my clamp to them right now without having another one sent to me, which gonna kind of hopefully come up with that idea maybe later this week, before the show this weekend, because I'd like to be able to clamp some stuff. I'm sure competitors would like to be able to know how much power they have as well for the leashed classes up to 5,000 watts. So hopefully be able to do that. And there are a lot of folks out there, as I'm reading through all of the comments here, that hopefully some of you folks are seeing as well when I put them on there. But tons in my class that I am nowhere competitive. That happens too. You might not necessarily be the first 2 or 3 or even in the top 10. Just because someone is in the top 10 does not mean they're going to be at finals. That just means that they're a member and they've got one show that was loud enough to be in the top 10. That does not mean that they have 2 shows year round yet. Maybe they're waiting until the end. I still have, let's see, Kennebec, Fargo, Shop, Yankton. I got 6 shows left. I can easily get someone a membership today and qualified for finals if they start Base Wars today. Now that's just me. I have no idea what the other judges really have for some of the finals. Yeah, if you're a little on that lazy side, it does happen that you start your year later because you were moving, or better, you're moving for a good reason, like you got a new job somewhere, or you just fulfilled a tour of duty with our military, or you are finally retiring and you can now do this and have the you can't, and nobody can use this name because this was my paintball team way back when as well. Team disposable income. If you've got a little disposable income and you've got a small stealth build, no wall, if you've got a bandit build, whether it's the trunk or the no wall, you know, it was, oh, I'm sorry. Tim, I'm sorry. I thought you fat fingered lazy with that. I'm sorry, man. No. Either way. Liz, how's it going? But no, if you got a little disposable income and you want to do a second build on another vehicle, got $1,000. Yeah, I can get you a prefab box with a single or a double 12 and a small full bridge 3K. Keep you right at the limit for both stealth and bandit. 212s right there. $200 on a radio, $100 on a box, $100 each on some subs. We're talking $400, $500 there. Install. Okay, let's not talk about install because I don't want to have to explain how much an install is anymore, because it used to be just $30 to install a radio or a pair of speakers when I started. I might as well just charge custom for everything now because there is so much extra stuff that you got to have for a radio alone. It's ridiculous to have steering wheel controls, GPS, your Sirius XM antenna, your standard GPS antenna, your rear view camera plugged in, and everything else that goes with it. Your 4 speakers, your power ground, 1 pair of RCAs, a bass knob, etc. I can almost get you into $1,000. And you might even be competitive locally. Nationally or worldwide, with the right stuff, yeah, you can be competitive for $1,000 or $2,000 easily. If you got a bigger vehicle, if you've got the Tahoe, Denali, Suburban, Explorer, Blazer, Durango, something like that. If you've got a full-size 4-door truck and you've got $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 worth of equipment in that vehicle, I would hope that you are already competitive and hopefully at least locally competitive. If not, and you want to be competitive, go down to a smaller class. See if you can figure out the efficiency in your vehicle. There are people out there right now in the stealth and bandit classes that are doing well over 150, which used to be really hard to do under 3K, let alone under 1K, per some other organization rules. And I think the loudest one right now that we have in oh geez, let me look here really quick because I know it's right at the top on Bandit. The top 10 on Bandit right now, I want to say is like a 156, 157 on 3K. So 212s, well, a single 15, 212s, 310s. I suppose you could do 5 8s with it, round 8s, because that's 50 inches a piece. And you could do 5 of them that way. But 157.7 in Bandit. Stealth for the trunk folks out there. Let me scroll down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 scores in stealth are from South Africa. The first 2, 3 of them are from South Africa. They are all 150 plus in stealth, and I do see that they are all also using 53 hertz. I do see that Trizin from Team Targa down there in South Africa also posted a power score of 1912 watts. So hopefully they found a nice 3K amp and are doing it properly. Those numbers are on the blue screen, folks. Those are member scores. So I'm not going to go back to the other ones, but they are out there. Donnie, yes, I do want to post that one up here for you. Scared of the power limited no wall classes, because you can do some of the, like the Explorer or the older GMC Safari, the Chevy Astro, the Dodge Ram Charger van. I always call them the painter van or the carpet layer van. It's a nice vehicle, and if you know where to put the power, especially in like a 4.5 up to 5K range, you can probably do a 160 on a burp. Music, it's a little bit harder to do because the acoustics of those vans are harsh, to say the least, as far as sound is concerned with them. But yeah, you can play around with a lot of different things. Collins, I'll get you on there to say hello again. I want to say hello to everyone else on here tonight that I did not get to, because there's a lot of people in here. It only shows like 6 or 7 that are up there, but lots of comments on here tonight. Been trying to get to most of them. I have not commented on anything other than what I've seen and thrown up here on this. Say Dano, I was saying that. Smiles from Hunter. More stuff from Gordon / Chris Shumley. And if you guys don't know that reference, come on. If you watch TV in the 80s and early 90s, you should know the reference, or you should at least know, or at least think that the name is somewhat familiar, but you can't place it. All I'm just going to say is the character liked cats and was from Melmac. And likes iced tea as well, maybe. Uh-oh. Tim, I want to throw that up there. What are you doing with a new build? Are you looking for a wall, no wall? What kind of vehicle is it going to be in? Because that's what people always want to know. Wall, no wall, or trunk? And yep, you got it. The Brisk Lemon. If I had a sponsor, it would be Brisk Lemon. It would be Dr. Pepper. It would be mainly those two. Occasionally just the water. But it would be the iced tea. It would be the Dr. Pepper. Those are my two vices when it comes to drinks. I'll go as far as to say Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb if I'm going out to a restaurant. If I know they got one of them, they should have one of them. Oh, damn, Tim, that's something right out of my own. I want to do it again. I built it in a van at one point for a customer. I threw a Nintendo in that the kids could play off of the back of the headrest monitors that were in this particular van. I love seeing some of that stuff, man. And yeah. Well, Donnie, I already said I'm 52, and I have been competing since the, let's see, that makes me born in 73, so in 16 years would have been 89. So I was in the 80s, 90s, the zeros, the tens. I'm now in the 20s. Yeah, I've been competing in 5 decades. I should probably stop with the age thing. I'm getting old and gray and bald. Yeah, I showed up about a week or two after my 16th birthday to my first car audio show, and old place that is no longer around, Audio King in St. Cloud, was a chain home audio and video chain store, a little car audio mixed in with it as well. Probably maybe 15 or so. Don't let me find mine out there, Brian, because yeah, I think my brother still has his down there in Omaha. So if you want one, I can get a hold of my brother for you, see if he's got it. If you want to buy it, I could probably find one. Actually, no, his was not a brick. His was a bag phone. Because I had 2 plugs for it. I had one that we kept in my car for the cigarette lighter, and when it was in his car, I found the Molex connector in Radio Shack, another place that doesn't exist anymore, and got some pins for it and hardwired a pin connection in his vehicle so that we could have the phone in both and not have to really worry about, did we leave the charger cable in one car or the other. We always had it. Oh man, that brings back memories. Great old cheater amps, Adcom, PPI, Orion, Rockford, Soundstream, many other names out there that I won't mention too many more, US amps, all the good old collector stuff that we see now. The Pioneer Dolphin screens, the JVCs, the old gold door speakers, the older Zapco sub amps, the Funky Pup. If you got one of those, show it off. Bigger battery back then and an alternator that you just simply only ran 4-gauge from, even though the amps all had spade terminals. How we got away with doing that and what I see now multiple 1-aught power inputs and ground inputs, 8-gauge speaker terminals on the side of darn near every amp that's out there that's worth anything. If you still got some spade terminals on your amps, they're perfectly fine, and they are fantastic with the SQ amps, especially the high-end AB amps that are out there still. But almost everything that I can't name too many people that I see that still run an AB class amplifier in bass source. Almost everything I see is class D, even the mids and highs. Because if you got one great amp from the XYZ company in a class D that's running your subs, or you got 5 of them, chances are you're probably running something from them in a 4-channel or 6-channel as well. The technology now versus what it was 30, 35 years ago, even 40 years ago, when car audio really started taking off with, again, the OG guys, Kicker, Alpine, Pioneer, Rockford. The things that they do now versus what they did 30, 40 years ago, the idea hasn't changed. The sound has changed a little bit. I won't get into artists, but the sounds have changed. I don't think they're as good, even with auto-tune. But the quality of the stuff that's out there, if you're getting it from YouTube, please don't. They compress it so much just to make sure that it is available at a moment's notice. They use lower quality stuff, but it works. I understand the need for it because everybody wants the speed of their internet, just like this, on the beat, at the same time, all the time. If you're looking for high quality stuff, find some FLAC lossless files. FLAC is FLAC. Make sure your radio or your deck can handle it, or that your phone, through either the little auxiliary cord or the USB-C adapters that are out there, make sure that those are available and can handle a FLAC style rather than an MP3 or an MP4 or a wave or anything else. Find something that is better in quality. Go out and look for the FLAC lossless files. Throw them on a USB stick and make sure that your deck can handle it. Because some decks, they still only handle regular MP3 style wave files or MP3 files. They can't handle a FLAC lossless file. Make sure your deck can handle it. If it can't, maybe that's part of the reason you are not on a top 10 list, or maybe it is a reason you are not on the top 10 list. A lot of those files are a little bit better and louder, so it's a little bit better as far as the quality, and with that you should be able to get a better quality signal. And whether you're using a $1,000 double DIN head unit because your vehicle could take it, or if you're using a $100 deck, put it in. Make sure that your deck has the features that you want. Make sure it's got a 4 or 5 volt output on the RCAs. Make sure it doesn't clip until that last click on there, because the last 2 or 3 clicks, generally you're not gaining anything. Or maybe it's the last 10 clicks. If you've got a great high-end deck, continue to use it. You might not have to change. But if you do, make sure the new one holds everything that you need it to do. Make sure it can hold those new files. Make sure it can hold those FLAC lossless files, not just the MP3s and the waves and the other sound formats that are out there. So otherwise, it has been about an hour, and let's see, how long has it actually been? It says a little bit over an hour and 10 minutes, minute 11 right now, or hour 11 of me yakking away. Does anybody have questions regarding finals coming up? I know that they will be at other locations other than myself here in the Sioux Falls area. And Brandon has his on the schedule right now for sound check. That is August 4th is today. So literally 2 months from now, October 4th, you have 8 weeks, 2 full months to get your amps tuned, to get your subs reconed, to get your, if you're showing up for the SQ stuff at the one location that will handle SQ, I believe that is going to be, if it's like last year, I think that was Greg and Stacy Kelly doing that down in Kentucky or Tennessee doing it. I believe they will be doing the SQ portions of it. So if you're running, mailroom, CEO, blue collar, white collar, welfare, those. If you're doing the ones over here in the demo classes on that score sheet, see those folks because you'll be seeing them there. And remember, sound quality is subjective. And believe me, there's a lot of music out there that I like a lot better than a lot of the music that I don't like. Because I listen to damn near everything. I got one playlist on my phone that's on through YouTube. And I know I just said don't play YouTube, but I do it when I'm driving. I play YouTube, and that's because the car that I've had for 3 years is still all stock. Sucks. But bring out the SQ, bring out the cleanest files you have. And in my mind, unfortunately, I see a lot of things that is wrong with SQ that we do, where people are listening at 135, 140, 150 dB. I'm sorry, that's not SQ in my mind. I want something that's barely above regular speech. I want maybe 100 dB. Old school style. If I could, I would set everything in your vehicle at 100 dB. Volume is going to be like 8 or 9, maybe. It's not going to be at 25 or 50. That is not SQ. Not in any vehicle. And I would challenge anyone who has ever been to a recent SQ event and say that to a judge, because they're just going to laugh at you and walk away after telling you that you're wrong and why you're wrong. Do the shows before membership count? Donnie, that's a tricky question, and I am not going to answer it, only because the guidebook rule book says that shows count after you purchase your membership. However, there is a gray area there where, unfortunately, if you are in the trunk category classes down here on the bottom and you accidentally got put into Godfather once, but you should be in Boss. If you've got 6 in Boss and the 1 in Godfather, we can plainly see that you have 7 classes in trunk. I would give you the benefit of the doubt that I fat-fingered something, that another judge fat-fingered something. You should have 7 in trunk, unless you were, testing out something and you had a 10K on that instead of under 5K. And it's it's always interesting to see what happens before finals, which is why I'm not going to say anything, and Billy makes all those decisions. So if you have a question about it, I would definitely have you speak to Billy about it or ask Billy uh, during the next time he's online with it here for one of these. Um, but the rule book, guidebook does say shows purchased after the membership count toward finals. So if you didn't purchase it until January, but you had 3 shows, you had 1 after finals and 2 in November, by the guide, they don't count. So you still got to have 7 more shows, or at least 5 more shows, and do your double at 2 of them. Otherwise, yeah, we could. I would love to see some really good SQ stuff out there. It has been a very long time since I've heard a great SQ vehicle. I hear a lot of good ones. Great. It doesn't happen often. And the greatest one that I think I've ever heard, and this is after hearing several of the all-time greats from the early 90s. I've heard Earl's BMW. I heard the Speakerworks Richard Clark's Grand National. I heard Todd's T-Bird. The greatest one that I ever heard, and I still see his name in the car audio world out there, simply because Richard has him as an SQ judge. Harry Kimura's Acura. I was fortunate enough to hear that when I was about 20, maybe 21. I thought I knew what SQ was, but Harry took about 10 minutes to explain a couple things to me, and my knowledge was blowing my mind after that. And he only gave me 10 minutes. I wasn't even there for an SQ seminar or anything to hear his vehicle and those other couple vehicles at the Georgia Masters that year. But same weekend as the Spring Break Nationals, which would have had, I guess I could call it the SPL build guys at that time. It would have had the Fishman down there. It would have had Mark Fukuda. Not that Mark's Blazer wasn't SQ at the time, because he did win a lot of SQ stuff as well later on. But he was more SPL in that yellow Blazer that he had with the gull wings that showed the Power 1000s in it. It would have had Alma or Patrick Gates been around early enough in the 90s. That vehicle would have been there and spanked everybody like it did. But SQ wise, I have not heard a great vehicle in a long time. They sound good, but I haven't heard a great one. I haven't heard that staging, haven't heard the imaging, haven't heard the linearity of everything. You know, you get the old people that will know exactly what I'm doing now to hear that rear fill with the fish ears, the fish gills. And yeah, I hear something, but that doesn't mean it's got rear fill. So anyways, yeah, Donnie, I would definitely do that just to make sure. I don't want to tell you one way or another. And again, I can't tell you if you or anyone else is approved unless you can show me 7 score sheets that your name is on in the same class, because I don't have access to the spreadsheet at this time. We have a brand new spreadsheet this year. It does not look anything like the one from last year. Even with last year's, with what I was able to edit by changing your name to have 2 N's in it, or two E's in the last name, or my name from Dano to Dan O'Brien with my full name on it, or someone else's name from John with a John to Jonathan to Jon for John. That's why we have, well, like I said earlier, 3 of the same name at the bottom of the assassin list, and at least 2 of the same name in the boss list right now on the member side of things. We were hoping to make it so that we could simply add it as a way to do it by filtering in everything that we have about you, I guess, or your build in the system, what frequency, the date of the show, most importantly, your name, your member number, and your score, because that's what gets you on the list. Somehow we don't have something right in the spreadsheet, and I know I didn't build it. I know Billy didn't build it. Someone else did, so it is in the programming of it, or the formatting of the lists that we have on it, but we have probably, I would lie to you and say that we probably have 10 or 12 bits of information on there that are through TermLab. Everything that you see on TermLab at a show, we throw in there. Your name, your score, your frequency, your power, plus, again, the date of the show, who was the judge, where was the show, are you a member, what is your member number, are you in whatever class out of what, 48, 50, about 60 classes that we offer, but 48 that we can show on TermLab. So, we've got tons of data. We just still haven't been able to get it formatted properly or 100% correct. We're about 90%. Because like I say, we got a couple names that are different spellings of the things, and we can turn a checkbox on, yes, you're a member, or no, you're not a member. That's how we get the 2 different lists, but it still doesn't show us correct spellings on names. It's not probably ever going to be able to do that. Well, it should. We're smart enough. We got AI to do things, but we don't have it built up that way. We use a simple spreadsheet. And for a couple grand to have it a year, and say a couple $100 every time we have to edit something on it, other than simply uploading the archive that I sent Billy yesterday from my show, or that Jimmy sent from this past weekend, or something else. Other than doing that, you don't want 10 people in there editing things either. You want it to where it works and does the trick. And if we got 1 or 2 little things, hey, maybe we can make it. So, no. And yeah, nope. I try and do that for you, Donnie. I'm not going to post those 2 comments, but I know where you're coming from with it, because I have my own issues. I don't like a lot of things, but I like probably 90% of the stuff. So with that, if anyone has any more questions about upcoming shows, which I did not read off tonight, but I'll give you a quick glimpse of what we've got coming up here, aside from finals. This coming weekend, meaning the 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, it looks like we only have 2 shows. We got one that looks like Brandon, Basin for a Cause, and I got my Hunting for DBs out in, well, it says Oakoma, but we're not in Oakoma. We're out in Kennebec, a little bit past the river up here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. Next weekend, it looks like we got 4, 5, 6 or so shows. The weekend after that, we've got 4 or 5 shows. Following the end weekend of August, it looks like we've got 5 or 6 shows. So we got 20 shows coming up here in August. A couple state finals coming up in February. The very first Saturday of October, October 4th, 2 months from today, is Base Wars Finals. Check the events list on basewars.org. Click on events. Go, I'm about halfway down my page with it. Go halfway down the page and see it. Base Wars Finals is listed. There is one on there that does not have any location or information other than the date and time. It says midnight on it. I'm hoping it ain't going to be at midnight. I'm hoping Brandon changes his from 8 a.m. as well, because I don't want to do something at 8 a.m. to match him. I still want to be sleeping. I probably won't, but I'll probably be at the shop. But we got 30, 35 shows still coming up before finals here, folks. So if you need part of your 7 shows still, please talk with your local judge. There's more than enough time to get a show at the end of September somewhere. If you need something, contact the Base Wars page, contact the official Base Wars group or the chat on that group. If you have not contacted them, against my better judgment, I'm going to tell you to fill out everything on there, because if you do not agree to all rules and follow the rules on there, you're not getting in. I do probably 95% of the managerial stuff on that particular portion for it. If you don't follow that one rule, it says you're not going to follow the rules. Well, sorry, I'm not letting you in and you're going to get declined. If you don't have a picture on there, you're going to get declined. If you are under 6 months, you're going to get declined. There's a couple other things on there that are going to get you declined. But if you fill out all the rules and you fill out all the little forms and do everything else that we ask, which is only 4 questions, it's 4 things. It's not hard to do. Fill it out, you'll get approved, and you can chat with everybody. You can chat directly with your judge if you know them on Facebook as well, with the same questions that we answer all the time. Can I do this? Can I do that? Yeah, chances are we'll have an answer for you. And if we don't have an answer, we'll direct you to Billy, because Billy is, again, he's the founder, he's the owner of Base Wars. He's the one that says yes or no. If Jimmy and I have a difference of opinion on something, I'm saying it's this, he's saying it's that, we're going to go to Billy. Billy's going to make a decision, and one of us will either be right or wrong, or maybe both of us will be wrong, or both of us will be right, and we've got to make something new for next year. Speaking of that, new year starts right after finals. So I know that I will be having a show in T later on that night, right after finals. Come on out. Whether you can compete at finals or not, I'd love everybody to be able to, but you can definitely do my nighttime show, because I'm going to run that from 6 to 9. And I don't want to say I'm going to cheat with it, but if you give me a score during the day for finals, I might take 10 dB off and take your money and say, here's your one score already for next year for 2026. It's not going to be the same score unless you go through the lanes. But if you need a score, we'll get you one. We might even be able to run you twice. Depends how many people are there and how fast everybody wants to go. And if you've got your stuff that you blew up at finals fixed, which is why I say bring your tools, bring your teammate, bring your recones, especially if they're kicker, L7X recones. You can do them in under 10 minutes in the field. I know that people can, because I've seen it done. I have not done one yet, but I bet I could probably do it if I had my drill and the Allen head for it. I could probably do it in 6 or 7 minutes. I'm not challenging anyone to it, but I know that there are other people out there that can do it because I've watched them do it on video. Get your amps, get your fuses, get your wire, get your fire extinguisher. I will not provide one for your vehicle. I'm in a residential area, but that residential area is now half a mile away from me, unfortunately. But we're more industrial and commercial than we are residential. So too bad. I was there first, and I have permission from the city. And I don't care if Karen shows up. Karen's going to get a mouthful and an earful from me. Then the cops can show up, and the cops can look at my permit for everything. And they can go out and tell Karen to piss off politely. With that, any other questions that you guys and gals might have, refer them to the chats that are out there on the Base Wars page, the official Base Wars group. They are two different setups. You can get on the Base Wars chat, of which, again, probably 95% of the stuff on there is me answering it. It's me getting you approved for it or declined. Billy is on there once in a while looking at it. Tony and Sonia are on there once in a while looking at it. Brandon is on there probably the second most that I am. And if I'm doing 95% of it, Brandon's doing 2 or 3%, and the other folks are doing the 1 or 2 other percent. All the judges have access to it. So if it is a criticism, complaint, comment, concern, please let us know. Just know that all the judges have access to it. And if you are going to complain about me or Brandon or someone else, we're going to see it, but only if we really look at it. And again, I might be one of the only people that do it. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out one way or another. If you got questions, feel free. Otherwise, ladies, gentlemen, kids, bring the kids. Bring the Power Wheels. That's right. I forgot to mention that. Bring your Power Wheels for your kids. They get bored sitting at the show here, folks. Get a $200 or $300 Power Wheels. I know you got a spare sub and a spare sub somewhere. Get a Power Wheels for your kids. Bring them. I know Donnie and Heather did. I know a couple other kids out here that do. I know Sadie does, Brian, for her stuff. I saw you asking for some more stuff for her. I know Greg and Stacy Kelly. They've got Addison and Avalon that they bring their 2 Power Wheels, and they're in first and second place in the Power Wheels class. They're out there all the time, and they're drivable as well. So bring them. If you got questions, please ask your local judge. Ask on the 3 or 4 locations that I've mentioned earlier. Let's talk about finals again next week. It should be Brandon, and I think Jim is back with him again next week. I believe they were on either last week or the week before with Jimmy and Billy. We'll figure out some stuff. So if we got the time and we got the answers, we'll give it to you. If you're messaging me even at 3 a.m., I know I don't like saying it, but I do answer at 3 a.m. because that's like 9 or 10 a.m. in South Africa, and I have answered for those folks. I do answer all the time. So please do so with questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. If you don't like what I am doing or don't like what another judge is doing, let us know. We'll try and change it if we can. If we can't change it, we'll tell you. If you don't like the answer that we give you, we'll push it up to Billy. I got no problem having Billy take over on this comment or that one or something else about us as judges. If any of the other judges out there have comments, they should be doing the same. They should be going to Billy. More often than not, that's the final stop. If we need to discuss it and come up with a new rule for something, we'll do that as well. So again, folks, thank you much for showing up here tonight. I think I'm going to let you go, as we almost always do, with a little bit of Carlos at the beginning and some pictures of the Bay Area and the national anthem. I will see you guys again in about a month or so, beginning of September, or hopefully at one of my local shows here in South Dakota, North Dakota area. We'll catch you later. See you around.